The wind moved strangely that evening, as if whispering something no one was meant to hear. The marsh looked ordinary from a distance, calm and silver under the rising moon, but something in the air felt tense, stretched, waiting. Even the water ripples moved slowly, too slowly, as if time itself had paused. At the center of that stillness stood a lone crane, tall, unmoving, a statue carved from moonlight. He had been standing there for hours, maybe longer. No one could tell. Even the reeds around him had begun to lean, as if expecting him to move, shift, blink, anything. But he didn't. He simply watched the surface of the water with eyes that seemed too alert for a creature at rest. Something was below, something he knew, something he had been tracking long before the night fell. But he didn't move. It was as if he sensed that even a single breath in the wrong moment could ruin everything. The marsh was not empty. There were rustlings in the dark, soft splashes, sudden silences, strange tremors, shadows that passed beneath the surface like living threads. The moon flickered behind drifting clouds, leaving the crane in slices of light and shadow that made him seem like a creature caught between two worlds. Sometimes he shifted his weight, barely. Sometimes he lifted one leg an inch higher, as if testing the air for vibrations. Sometimes he tilted his head, as though listening to something beneath the noise of the wind. It wasn't hunger that kept him rooted. It was something colder, something sharper. He had learned long ago that the first movement does not win the night. The right movement does. A ripple broke the silence. Just one, soft, gentle, too gentle. The crane's eyes narrowed. He knew this ripple. It wasn't random. It wasn't a fish. It wasn't natural. It was a warning, a tease, a message from something that had eluded him night after night, slipping through the reeds like smoke. Something quick, something cunning, but not cunning enough. Not tonight. He waited, still, listening, counting each second as if each one weighed differently. There were footsteps behind him, soft, uncertain. A small creature, perhaps a fox or a wandering raccoon, paused and stared at him. It was curious at first, then confused, then frightened. Something in the crane's stillness unsettled it, made the night feel wrong. The creature retreated, disappearing into the woods. The crane remained. Then the marsh began to change. The wind dropped completely. The insects stopped singing. The water looked too flat, too perfect, like glass stretched thin over darkness. It was coming. He felt it before he saw it. A shadow glided beneath the water, long and slow. It circled him once, twice, 3 times, testing him, mocking him, trying to force him to move first. The crane didn't fall for it. He had patience deep in the water, older than the reeds, sharper than the moon's reflection. He had learned the cruel rhythm of waiting, not passive, not idle, but alive with awareness. The shadow stopped circling. It hovered directly beneath him. Closer, closer, closer still. He saw a faint shimmer through the water. Scales, maybe eyes, maybe the glint of teeth. Hard to tell. It moved too quickly, then too slowly. A predator pretending to be prey. He didn't move. The moon came out again. Bright, cold, revealing. And then silence cracked. A violent splash erupted as the creature lunged upward, breaking the water in a burst of claws and teeth. It was fast, faster than anything that size should have been. It twisted in midair, jaws snapping toward the crane's legs, water spraying like silver shards. The attack came perfectly timed, but the crane was more perfect. He moved in a blur, Not a step early, not a second late. He lifted off the moment before the jaw closed around the space his feet had been. The creature snapped at empty air, choking on its own momentum. The crane's wings opened with a sudden, sweeping force that sent droplets flying like sparks. He rose just out of reach, but not high enough to retreat. Not yet. He hovered, waiting for the creature's next mistake. It came. With its failed strike, the creature's body twisted sideways, exposing itself for one heartbeat. Just one. And that was all the crane needed. He dove. A sharp, precise strike. Focused. Clean. No hesitation. The creature thrashed, water churning wildly. Rates bent. Mud rose. The marsh trembled. But the crane didn't move again. He had struck exactly where he needed to, exactly when he needed to. And now the creature's strength drained into the water, its shape collapsing, sinking, fading back into the marsh from which it came. The crane landed quietly. No triumph, no celebration, just calm acceptance. He stood over the stillness, feathers settling, breath steady. The night slowly exhaled. Insects resumed their song. The wind returned in gentle currents. But something was different now. He sensed it. A shift, a disturbance deeper than any ripple. The marsh was watching him, not with eyes, with presence, as if the place itself acknowledged him, as if the night whispered, not in words, but in the hush of the water, that patience was not just a virtue. It was power, control, strategy, a weapon sharper than any claw. He dipped his head into the water, drinking slowly, savoring the coolness. But before the surface settled, something else reflected back at him, not his own shape. Something behind him, tall, still, watching. He turned. Nothing was there. The marsh was empty. Quiet, too quiet. He waited, listening. A rustle, a whisper, a shift in the reeds. The crane tightened his stance, feathers rising ever so slightly. He wasn't alone. Whatever had appeared in the reflection had moved, silently, purposefully, back into the shadows, watching him the way he had watched the water moments ago. He wasn't the hunter anymore. He was being studied, measured, timed, and for the first time in a long time, he felt what his prey had felt, a test, a challenge, a warning. Patience was not just his strength. It was also his vulnerability, because someone else out there had patience too, perhaps more, perhaps older. He could feel it. The reeds parted, softly, too softly. The moon dimmed behind a drifting cloud. An unnatural silence fell again, the same silence that came before the creature's attack. But this time it felt wrong, colder, hungrier. The crane stood tall, but inside his chest something moved uneasily, a tremor, a whisper of fear he had not felt in years. He scanned the marsh. Still nothing, but the uneasiness grew. A lesson settled into him, heavy and sharp. Timing wasn't just about striking. It was also about knowing when not to strike, when to wait, when to observe, when to retreat. Something large moved in the far distance, hidden behind the reeds. Slow, deliberate, and whatever it was, it had also been waiting for the perfect moment. Maybe tonight wasn't his victory. Maybe it was only the beginning of something watching him back. The water rippled again, a single perfect circle spreading outward, not caused by him, not caused by the wind. Something else. The crane bent forward to look, sensing the moment tightening like a string. And in the reflection there was again, closer, too close. The reed bed shifted, and the story of the night changed direction, pulling the marsh, pulling the darkness into a new tension, one that would not end tonight, not for him, not for whatever waited beneath the silence. The moon rose higher, the shadows lengthened, and the crane understood he had mastered patience. But he was not the only one, not anymore. And as the next ripple broke the surface, he realized the night wasn't done with him, not even close. It was only choosing its moment, just like him.